The secret of the jerk. Note, this post ended up being longer than I expected. Much longer. You should have divided it into many posts. Why write a galaxy of posts when one article will do? No, your eyes are not mistaken. The guy with the beautiful woman is a jerk and or ugly guy. What is he doing with her? Can she not see? Has she not eyes? Alas, the poor male looks around, knows not who to turn to, and eventually sums up that the universe is a cruel and mysterious personage who deals out no answers, offers no solutions, and gives out no explanations, especially for the enigma of all enigmas, the beautiful woman. Obviously, something is amiss. How do these ugly to average-looking guys get such babes? How do these cruel, stupid, barbaric males get these feminine jewels? Are they following a special trick? Are they super confident? What is their secret? Are they even aware of their secret? But what if nothing is amiss? What if this is all correct to the will of nature? Where leads the Don Juan? Oh, there she is, the beautiful woman, the ornament of the world, the dream in flesh. She stands aloof on the platform and says, "Gentlemen, how are you to win me?" And around the platform, 1,000 mouths cry, "Confidence, humor, patterns, kino, chocolate, poetry, by ignoring you, by totally focusing on you. Puffed muscles, flowers, endless gifts, mirroring, leather jackets, eliciting values, sparky clothes, bouncy personality, romance, dinner, lobster, compliments, guitar songs." And she laughs only to say, "These are very well and good, gentlemen, but are you not aware that imitation is suicide? You forgot that confidence is experience, that puffed muscles are not to be a masculine dress, that any guy can buy me a lobster, and that countless many can sing the guitar songs. Are you so unaware of what I need?" But a lone voice speaks from the floor. "You, madam, are to win me, for I am the prize to be won." And with that, she giggles in glee. "For every one of you, there are 1,000 guys willing to offer me the above. It is cute that you are different, but why am I with the ugly guy at the end? Why do I prefer the jerk?" And with this, the lone voice had no answer. Then comes the great exclamation, "Because he is a man!" "Yes, but no," she snobbily laughs. "Because he is disrespectful." "He is that, but no." "Because he is an animal." "Not at all." "Because he has a super ego." "True, but no." "Because he wears his cap backwards." "Ha!" "Because he is rough and mean." "Nope." And then a golden arrow shaft of voice pierced the confusion, penetrated deep within the truth, spread those warmy, gooey moans of ecstasy throughout, and made her come with such surprising clarity that she screams in delight. For the voice said, "Extreme masculinity." "Oh, Pook," she smiled in radiance, "how right you are!" And all the guys' mouths turned into a big O as the beautiful woman ran off to the platform into the arms of Pook. Having satisfied none of her demands, what she ends up with, the ugly/average guy, becomes seemingly contradictory. Extreme masculinity? What answer can that be? Oh, women, can you give us no explanations other than the ones that send us off the cliff? Can you not explain yourselves to our perplexed male minds? Alas, it is like speaking to a block. She gives expressions but not answers. She gives demands but no secrets. How smart men may be until they enter a bar. How knowledgeable they seem until they are before a woman. The mystery of mysteries. There are 3 mysteries to the world: the rise and fall of civilizations, fruitcake, and why beautiful women go for jerks. Leaving fruitcake and the rise and fall of civilizations for other posts, let us concern ourselves with why beautiful women go for jerks. What is nature's secret? And likewise, a sea of mouths with authoritative tongues chant out the usual answers. Confidence, dominance, unpredictability, hard to get, selfishness, rudeness, and so on. These experts or wise sages merely look at the jerk as a fixed element and classify personality traits or even physical traits. Fools adopt the personality/physical traits, but imitation is suicide. Why go for the fool's gold when the real gold is in your grasp? There are things so simple in nature and life that we utterly confuse them and ourselves with our stupid philosophies. Jerks don't need websites like these. Sexuality is one of these. Our countless reading of seduction over the internet is full of months, if not years. Yes, you feel you are always right on the edge of the secrets to end your heartaches and tensions, but at the end of the day, you are still in front of your computer. Someone said this to me. "What an odd definition of man you gave, Pook. A guy not afraid of his testosterone? Surely it is more heroic. But it is entirely about testosterone. Girls are attracted to guys, not wimps, not nice guys, not chumps, but guys. Rather than trying to build and discover some killer philosophy to ease your troubles, why not accept the structure nature has already set up? The secret of the jerks is that it is so widespread, common, and plain that since it is all around us, we can't even distinguish it. Nature is process, always seeking and devouring. Nothing remains set. Everything's in cycles. Rather than classifying the actions of the jerk and merely duplicating them, let us adopt the source so those actions come natural and without thought or effort. Pook stands on the fruitcake and calls the crowd around him. Gentlemen, do say, what type of women will the nicest nice guy attract? Sperm whales, hags, bitches, uglo girls. Indeed, what trait commonly unites all these girls that end up with the pathetic nice guy? Silence. Gentlemen, your silence most offends me. Sure, these girls may be sweet, sure they may be smart, sure they may be many things, yet there is one thing that they are not. They are not feminine. They are not girlish. The men nod. And likewise, what are these nice guys? These blobs of appeasing rolls of gooish flesh? Are these the men of the world? No! These boys are not exactly feminine, but they certainly aren't masculine. They are neither. They are the androgynous blob who, without a spine, is clay to fit any woman's desires or whims. Nice guys love women as a drowner loves a life preserver. He clings onto her because he cannot swim the waters of nature. Tossed and tossed he becomes throughout his love life. The masculine male. Pook walks towards a bubbly nice guy with a needle of manness. No, the prick will hurt me. Fine, die a painful long death of regret, loneliness, and frustration. Any other takers? Another nice guy volunteered. See, this fellow knows that a momentary pain is preferable to consistent suffering. Pook puts the shot into the nice guy and injects him with testosterone. Now, gentlemen, watch the effects. The nice guy no longer fears what he desires. He sees the woman he wants. He approaches her. Why do jerks approach women? To marry them? No. The jerk is operating not out of control with that head down there, but rather being influenced properly by his testosterone. He sees what he wants and goes and gets it. He does not apologize for it. He does not try to rationalize it. He does not analyze it. There are no stupid philosophies running around in the jerk's head. The nice guy gets rejected by the woman. Oh, poor nice guy. But look, something is changing. Look at the anger building up in him. Something is being changed within him. It is frustration. It is anger. The worst thing for him to do would be to cry and duck his head in the sand. Constant rejection requires one of two solutions. Either lower your standards or increase your standards in yourself. But it is true that standards do not enter the jerk's mind. He gets frustrated and angry. He tries again with much less awkwardness. Nature's system is at work here, chiseling his social exterior. He gets the dates. The nice guy gets dumped after a few days. Oh dear, what happened? Why, perhaps the nice guy was trying to mock earlier jerk behavior and re-metamorphed into an AFC eventually before his chick. Imitation is suicide. No wonder chicks are so hard for honesty. Do jerks really care on pleasing the women in the spirit of altruism and glorious relationship? Yes. Hush you! The jerks obviously do not care about the women in such a manner. Their testosterone says, I have needs that need to be fulfilled. Entertain me. And so the jerks come off as self-centered, not because they are self-centered, but because they are close to their male nature and seek to satisfy their thirst. The nice guy sees that fun is merely being around a beautiful woman. The jerk is a bit more active. He wants to have fun his way. She is along for the ride. It has been well known that action dates, example, dancing, bowling, rock climbing, etc., work much better than regular dates, coffee, dinner, movie, etc. Rather than merely matching the effect, the action date, let us focus on the cause. The jerk would obviously skateboard and play basketball than to sit at dinner and watch the girl flap her gums. Testosterone has been shown to create more action in the individual. Jerks, i.e. testosteronized males, do the action naturally. Rather than worrying about making yourself do action dates, get yourself in that nature set and action dates will become the only comfortable choice you can make. The nice guy gets dumped because he hardly made any moves. Oh no! We know how the girl gets mistreated and we'll talk to her girly friend, the nice guy, about it. We see the abuse and we think, oh heavens, am I to be abusive to get the girl? What is this abuse? Is she really hurt or is she merely mad that she failed in her mission? To sterilize and link to the masculinized dude. But the guy stands her up all the time, etc., etc. It is not because he stands her up. It is because she knows she is not loved by him. Her feminine powers are not ensnaring him. It is a feminine failure. The girl sleeps with the jerk and he leaves her. We, as guys, think the abuse is the jerk sleeping with the girl merely to use her, and motherly harpies try to feminize us into not doing this. Rather, the abuse is that the girl realizes she could not keep the guy. She was not woman enough. Nature's path leads to women. As men, we are governed by two masters, Mind and nature. Nature refers to the processes and cycles that our bodies are only but a part. Both fight one another. Mind. The finest philosophies will get us the women. Nature. You bore me, unleash me. But what will get the women? Mind. Calculation, seduction. Nature. Instinct, masculinity. And why should you get any women? Mind. Because everyone else is and I am not. Nature. Because I am male and she is female. Now let us throw some obstacles at the two. Let us say they are unceasingly unsuccessful in obtaining the beautiful women. What are your reactions? Mind. This is obviously a failure within my calculation, my framing of the events. I will solve this with more seduction research, essay writing on message boards, for I treat sexual dynamics like an academic degree. Nature. The failure is in not being male enough. Increased masculinity is the solution. But you who enraged the poets and tortured the philosophers, please elaborate. Nature. When the embryo is at 3 months, it is unisex. It is both sexes at once. Alas, from then it divides into a gender, of which we cannot choose, of which enforces a code of conduct and duties of behavior we cannot control or understand, and we call ourselves free. Mind. Yes, one half turns male, the other female. It is in my books. Nature. Then I shall burn your library, for nature always has more secrets than you can decipher. Gender is not all or none. There is a mix. Mind. But it is in my books. In Sex and Character, Vinegar says from birth males and females are divided. Some males are 70% male, 30% female. Others are 80% male, 20% female. It is vice versa for women. We know of effeminate men. We know of tomboys. Attraction is not a choice. A male that is 60% male and 40% female will attract a female that is 60% female and 40% male. A female that is 90% female and 10% male will attract a male that is 90% male and 10% female. It is a fact that some men are more feminine than others. This attraction scale is destiny. We mate with what fills the void best. This is the mix that Vinegar speaks of, is marked by the very first chapter of his book and made everything else possible. Nature. I wonder if you will talk then till doomsday. Your followers, your philosophers, lawyers, academics, prattle and rattle on just like you. You are completely unaware of the seasons of life that color and sparkle the world. But I hesitate. Mind. Like the flow and ebb of the moon. Nature. Quiet you. Vinegar and others of his ilk made good attempts at trying to discover my secrets. They tried to pop themselves out of my earthly cycle and peer upon my work with the eyes of a god. Melancholy is my vengeance. Nietzsche and Kierkegaard, I drove those two mad. For Vinegar, I made his life so unpleasant that he had to shoot himself. Mind. Is this your only vengeance? Nature. No, it is reserved for anyone who frustrates my cycle. A man who persistently stays single becomes a public temptation. I chisel away at him to make him more appropriate and correct the purpose of getting the women and carrying on my work. Mind. But he will not do this, and your melancholy will not work due to the female attention he receives. Nature. I make and unmake the Adonis, the beautiful boy, refusing to use my gift for my purpose, enjoys being slaughtered by the elephant's tusk. The early untimely death. I will not be defied. Mind. But Vinegar explained you. Nature. Fool! Your mix is all wrong. It is true that it is not simply male and female, but there is androgynous, where the male levels are so low in the male that he is barely male, or that the female levels are so low in the female that she is barely female. Mind. You divided us before birth. Nature. And I inject you again with my touch in puberty. The boys must become a man and the girl a woman, but alas, many attempt to buck my ways to follow you. Nerds, geeks, we know the labels. The longer a man tries to ignore the fact of my mission and cycle, the more pain and loneliness I will add in him until he has no choice to act. Mind. You are vicious. Nature. It gets the job done. But Vinegar is wrong. We are not born into a spectrum. Rather, we can add to it or decrease it. The element of attraction is destruction. Mind. Destruction? Nature. If a woman is amazingly female, what is the result? Mind. Hordes of men hunt after her. Nature. Yes. Extremeness of spectrum is an anomaly that must be seeked out and destroyed. The female is feminine with matter. Girls at an early age are aware of the effects of their bodies have on young men. They know that they are like a magnet. But who do they go for? The beautiful woman is the extreme female? Why, she is seeking the extreme male. But the actions of the jerk, who can say that he is not looking for destruction? He finds it in her and she finds it in him. I demand sterilization of the two. The more success they have, the more and more it is drained from them. Eventually they settle for one mate and begin to march on towards androgynous. Mind. So the beautiful woman is attracted to the jerk because... Nature. It is better to say that the extreme female is attracted to the extreme male man. And this is the utterly simple secret. Jerks are not super confident, not superior in all seduction knowledge. Jerks are testosteronized males. This separates them from the nice guys who still defy the flooding of testosterone nature inflicts on them. Science of testosterone. Be a man. A man is one who is not afraid of his testosterone. This will seem incredibly basic, but to illustrate the effects, look at the effects of men who must be injected with artificial testosterone because, for whatever reason, their body isn't making enough, usually due to having HIV. One HIV-positive guy shares his differences with the before and after shots. His weight increases from 165 pounds to 185 pounds. The collar size goes up from 15 to 17.5. The chest from 40 to 44. His appetite expands beyond measure. Before he was constantly napping. Now he has enough energy for daily workouts and in strict work schedules. Before, depression was a regular feature. Now it is a distant memory. With the testosterone shots, he feels better to recover from life's curveballs, more persistent, more alive. There are more effects. With the testosterone, he feels more energy. The attention span shortens. He finds it harder to concentrate on writing and feels he must exercise. The wit becomes quicker, the mind faster, and the judgment more impulsive. It is literally a rush. Without the testosterone, he finds himself more reserved. The energy is still there, but is geared towards interaction rather than action, towards pride rather than lust. He rarely looks for dates and thinks of approaching women without it. But with it, he is constantly scanning the women for potential dates and socializing. With testosterone comes increased debating type attitudes and increased anger. Driving makes him scream at the other cars and stupid drivers. This is oddly reminiscent of Thomas Jefferson's personality when he was always said to be unemotional except for when riding a horse and became overly emotional. With testosterone comes increased patience, increased edginess, but increased self-confidence. Now, do these traits of the under-testosteronized male and the over-testosteronized male match the nice guy and jerk? They do most accurately. For the rest, we require a scientist. A scientist appears. There you are. Oh, Mr. Scientist, do tell us more about testosterone. I'd love to, Pook. Testosterone, oddly enough, is a chemical closely related to cholesterol. It was first isolated by a Dutch scientist in 1935 from mice testicles and successfully synthesized by a German biologist, Adolf Butenandt. Although testosterone is often thought of as the definition of maleness, both men and women produce it. Men produce it in their testicles, women produce it in their ovaries and adrenal glands. The male body converts some testosterone to estradiol, a female hormone, and the female body has receptors for testosterone, just as the male body does. That's why women who want to change their sex are injected with testosterone and develop male characteristics like deeper voices, facial hair, and even baldness. The central biological difference between adult men and women, then, is not that men have testosterone and women don't. It is that men produce much, much more of it than women do. An average woman has 40 to 60 nanograms of testosterone in a deciliter of blood plasma. An average male has 300 to 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. Okay, Mr. Scientist, you are putting this Pook to sleep. The effects of testosterone. Focus on the effects. Certainly, Pook. Testosterone's effects start early, really early. At conception, every embryo is female and unless hormonally altered will remain so. You need testosterone to turn a fetus with a Y chromosome into a real boy, to masculinize his brain and body. Men experience a flood of testosterone twice in their lives. In the womb about 6 weeks after conception and at puberty. The first fetal burst primes the brain and the body, endowing male fetuses with the instinctual knowledge of how to respond to later testosterone surges. The second, more familiar adolescent rush, squeaky voices, facial hair, and all, completes the process. Go on. The effects of testosterone is systemic. It engenders both the brain and the body. Apart from the obvious genital distinction, other differences between men's and women's bodies reflect this. Body hair, the ratio of muscle to fat, upper body strength, and so on. Testosterone leads to behavioral differences as well, since it is unethical to experiment with human embryos by altering hormonal balances. Much of this evidence for this idea is based on research conducted on animals. A Stanford research group, for example, as reported in Deborah Blum's book, Sex on the Brain, injected newborn female rats with testosterone. Not only did the female rats develop penises from their clitorises, but they also appeared fully aware of how to use them. What? Indeed, let me continue. Yes, I am sorry. And these female rats were trying to have sex with the other females with merry abandon. Male rats who had their testosterone locked after birth, on the other hand, saw their penises wither or disappear entirely and presented themselves to the female rats in a passive, receptive way. Other scientists, theorizing that it was testosterone that enabled male zebra finches to sing, injected mute female finches with testosterone. Sure enough, the females sang. Species in which the female is typically more aggressive, like hyenas and female runclads, show higher levels of testosterone among the females than among the males. Female sea snipes, which impregnate the males and leave them to stay home and rear the young, have higher testosterone levels than their mates. Typical male behavior, in other words, corresponds to testosterone levels, whether exhibited by chromosomal males or females. Does this apply to humans? The evidence certainly suggests that it does, though much of the proof is inferred from accidents. Pregnant women who were injected with progesterone, chemically similar to testosterone, in the 1950s to avoid miscarriage had daughters who later reported markedly tomboyish childhoods. Incredible! Ditto girls born with a disorder that causes their adrenal glands to produce a hormone like testosterone rather than the more common cortisol. The moving story chronicled in John Calipinto's book As Nature Made Him, of David Reimer, who as an infant was surgically altered after a botched circumcision to become a girl, suggests how long-lasting the effect of phenyltestosterone can be. Despite a ruthless attempt to socialize David as a girl and to give him the correct hormonal treatment to develop as one, his behavioral and psychological makeup was still ineradically male. Eventually, with the help of more testosterone, he became a full male again. Female-to-male transsexuals report a similar transformation when injected with testosterone. One, Susan/Drew Seidman, described her experience in The Village Voice last November. "My sex drive went through the roof," Seidman recalled. "I felt like I had to have sex once a day or I would die. I was into porn as a girl, but now I'm really into porn." For Seidman, becoming a man was not merely physical. Thanks to testosterone, it was also psychological. So what makes a man? I don't know what exactly makes a man, but one thing I can tell you for sure, it is not his penis. Oh, wise sage, wonderful scientist, but do not confuse testosterone with Popeye spinach. Nature says testosterone levels will rise when the situation warrants. Survival is the priority. So in cases of danger, of war, the testosterone levels increase. When in a strip club or viewing a porno site, testosterone levels also rise. Men with higher testosterone achieve psychological dominance, have higher self-esteem, and move through the world with natural confidence. But Pook, I have more to add. Terry, then I will step aside and let you speak. Testosterone is clearly correlated in both men and women with psychological dominance, confident physicality, and high self-esteem. In most competitive environments, especially physical ones, the person with the most testosterone wins. Put any two men in a room together and the one with more testosterone will tend to dominate the interaction. Gentlemen, this is your secret ingredient for that alpha maleness you keep longing for. Working women have higher levels of testosterone than women who stay at home, and the daughters of working women have higher levels of testosterone than the daughters of housewives. A 1996 study found that in lesbian couples in which one partner assumed the male or butch role and another assumes the female or femme role, the butch woman has higher levels of testosterone than the femme woman. So in lesbian couples, one acts male and the other acts female. In naval medical tests, midshipmen have been shown to have higher average levels of testosterone than plebes. Actors tend to have more testosterone than ministers, according to a 1990 study. Among 700 male prison inmates in a 1995 study, those with the highest testosterone levels tended to be those most likely to be in trouble with the prison authorities and to engage in unprovoked violence. This is true among women as well as among men, according to a 1997 study of 87 female inmates in a maximum security prison. Woohoo, the key to dominance. Careful, Pook. Although his high testosterone levels often correlate with dominance in interpersonal relationships, it does not guarantee more social power. Testosterone levels are higher among blue-collar workers, for example, than among white-collar workers, according to a study of more than 4,000 former military personnel conducted in 1992. But is testosterone like adrenaline, or does it respond to long-term surrounding environment stimuli? Well, Pook, studies have shown that inner-city youths, often exposed to danger in high-crime neighborhoods, may generate higher testosterone levels than unthreatened, secluded suburbanites, and so high testosterone levels may not merely be responses to a violent environment. They may subsequently add to it in what becomes an increasingly violent sexualized cycle. Increase in violence and sexuality? Then it is no accident that testosterone-soaked ghettos foster both high levels of crime and high levels of illegitimacy. Indeed, Pook. In the same way, declines in violence and crime may allow testosterone levels to drop among young inner-city males, generating a virtuous trend of further reductions in crime and birth rates. This may help to explain why crime can decline precipitously rather than drift down slowly over time. But what for men who enter that dungeon? I mean marriage. Studies have also shown that men in long-term marriages see their testosterone levels progressively fall and their sex drives subsequently decline. It is as if their wives successfully tame them, reducing their sexual energy to a level where it is more unlikely to see extramarital outlets. A 1993 study showed that single men tended to have higher levels of testosterone than married men, and that men with higher levels of testosterone turned out to be more likely to have had a failed marriage. Of course, if you start out with high testosterone levels, you may be more likely to fail at marriage, stay in the sexual marketplace, see your testosterone increase in response to this, and so on. So what is the entire point, Mr. Brainy Guy? This, then, is what it comes down to. Testosterone is a facilitator of risk, physical, criminal, personal. Without the influence of testosterone, the cost of these risks might seem to far outweigh the benefits, but with testosterone charging through the brain, caution is thrown to the wind. The influence of testosterone may not always lead to raw physical confrontation. In men with many options, it may influence the decision to invest money in a dubious enterprise, jump into an ill-advised sexual affair, or tell an egregiously big whopper. At the time, all these decisions may make some sort of testosterone sense. It sounds like you were describing a U.S. politician. Hush book. Oh, I'm sorry. Continue. The effects of testosterone are not secret. Neither is the fact that men have far more of it than women. But why? As we have seen, testosterone is not synonymous with gender. In some species, it is the female who has most of it. The relatively new science of evolutionary psychology offers perhaps the best explanation for why that's not the case in humans. For neo-Darwinians, the aggressive and sexual aspects of testosterone are related to the division of labor among hunter-gatherers in our ancient but formative evolutionary past. This division, men in general hunted, women in general gathered, favored differing levels of testosterone. Women need testosterone for self-defense, occasionally risk-taking, strength, but not as much as men. Men use it to increase their potential to defeating rivals, respond to physical threats in strange environments, maximize their physical attractiveness, prompt them to spread their genes as widely as possible, and defend their home if necessary. But women are attracted, in the physical imagery sense, to the feminine-looking guys. How can testosterone increase physical attractiveness? I do not understand. But the picture, as most good evolutionary psychologists point out, is more complex than this. Men who are excessively testosterone are not that attractive to most women. Although they have the genes that turn women on, strong jaws and pronounced cheekbones, for example, are correlated with high testosterone. They can also be precisely the unstable, highly sexed creatures that childbearing, stability-seeking women want to avoid. There are two ways evolutionary psychologists hazard that women have successfully squared this particular circle. One is to marry the sweet class nerd and have an affair with the college quarterback. That way you get the good genes and the good sex and the stable home. This has always been the problem, nice guy or jerk. There's a third path. A third way? And what is it? The third way is to find a man with variable testosterone levels who can be both stable and nurturing when you want him to be, and yet become a muscle-bound, burstly gladiator when the need arises. This is sadly more easily said than done. The secret is to control the sexuality, or else it will control you. The jerk is entirely controlled by it. The nice guy recoils from the abuses he sees in the jerk and becomes merely static on the woman's radar. To be a jerk in control of his sexuality is to cease being jerk-like, for nature has set up this game of life we all play. Learn the system and work within it. No nice guy in animal world. Now we require a farmer. A farmer appears. What are the effects of testosterone on animals? The farmer looks at Pook as if he was crazy. Yes, the effects. Well, one thing with animals is that the female is usually the one more in heat, always searching for sex than the male. Take female pigs, they go completely berserk. Go on. But it is exactly what that scientist said. Nature dashes some testosterone to create the male at first, then, at puberty, nature floods the male with testosterone. If you neuter the animal before this flood, you'll have a great pet. And if you don't, well, you'll end up with an unhappy beast. Male pigs must be neutered or the testosterone will flood the body, making its meat worthless. This is why we don't eat bull. So our animal friends, when testosteronized, are merely to mate? There is no other strength in it? That isn't true. If you neuter the dog before he gets testosteronized, he makes a great pet, but he will not make a good sheepdog. It's almost like his will of action gets taken out. And so is the same with humans. What do nice guys become but human pets for the female? And just as animals use their sexuality for action, for a higher purpose, so do humans. The women agree. Even on this site's discussion of nice guys versus jerks, read what some of the women had to say. Italics will be the women. Regular text will be da Pookman. First Lady. Alright, I read some of your responses from women and noticed that most of them seem older. And probably uglier. It is the pretty chicks we want. Too bad pictures weren't included with their words. And since a lot of guys who go on here seem to be around my age, 17, I figured I'd put my 2 cents in. Here it comes. I don't like the nice guy. To me, he's a definite turnoff. He seems too timid to pursue intimacy. And personally, I love it when a guy is really horny, as long as he is attractive and knows when to stop. It makes me feel a lot more comfortable. Too timid to pursue intimacy, perhaps he needs a shot of testosterone. Notice how she loves the guy being horny, not just a stupid type of horny. She feels comfortable when the guy is following his nature rather than acting out stupid philosophies. I'm not saying I like jerks. I like the funny guy who always has something interesting or colorful to say. Normally, girls look for someone of their niceness quotient or lower. Feeling like a jerk in the relationship is no fun. Of course, neither is being the bitch, so it's totally up to the chick. Maybe you guys, nice guys, need to get a bit more bold, not necessarily jerkish. Fortune favors the bold. Second Lady. Women start to see the light in their late 20s. Some men never do. As women get older, they become less feminine in that they are rapidly aging. Yes, nice guys can get girls. All the girls we don't want. My advice to the nice guys whose decency might be hampering their dating success is to widen the pool of women they consider. Translated, go for uglier/older girls. A current philosophy among some male dating gurus is never to date a woman over 30 as they are too set in their ways, hate men, and are starting to lose their looks anyways. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Older women have developed depth of character, have learned that nice guys are the way to go, and are in their sexual prime. In addition, they know who they are sexually, and are unashamed and unafraid to experiment and to take and give pleasure. Sex with a woman over 35 might be some of the best sex a man will ever have. Over 35? She can't have many children by then. At that age, she is losing her purpose of sexuality. The problem with dating women under 25, which seems to be the goal for many men of all age groups, is that one will have to contend with the image-seeking behavior of youth. Unless a man is equally shallow and image-driven, most men over 30 are not. Women in their 30s, 40s, and up can be a goldmine of interesting and wonderful experiences. We know that the young women go for the jerks, but notice how the desexualized male, i.e. the nice guys, win with the desexualized female, i.e. women in their 30s and 40s. Third, women. I date only nice guys. Most women want to date a nice guy, but men are being classified into two groups, nice or jerks. That doesn't cover the subject. People are more complex than that. Neither sex can be grouped into just two groups, of course. The nice guy is often a man who doesn't have a life, and neither sex is attracted to this type of person. A truly nice guy is hard to find. A true jerk most women don't want. I think we would try to make people fit into a category instead of getting to know them. You can't always know what a woman wants based on another woman's choices. Why not? Women seem to follow the same pattern going for the jerk. It is true that the nice guy has no life. It is because he lacks the action that the jerk has. I love a nice guy. To me, nothing is sexier than a guy who has the guts to say he really likes me on a first date. And yes, I do continue dating him. I must clear one last thing up. Nice guys do finish last, and I find that to be very sexy. He's the one I'll see again. This woman must be fat or old or something. Fourth girl. Sorry, but it's no more true that women prefer jerks than it is true that men prefer bitches. The thing is, the nice guys who are with a woman are not out there complaining that women don't like nice guys. The nice guys who are not with a woman will express their loneliness in a nice way from time to time. The jerks who are not with a woman never complain about it. They lie and say they do have a woman, or many women, or they don't want a woman. Nice guys don't lie like that. The jerk is a challenge. The nice guy wants to go on Oprah's show. The truth is that nice guys are alone from time to time. The truth is that there are plenty of people out there looking for the right one. Keep looking, you'll find her. It is interesting that women are all united in the belief that there is one for everyone. It is as if they are well aware of nature's invisible hand demanding union. P.S. You are a guy, right? So looks are very important to you. Let's say you think you cannot be with less than an 8. I know a huge compromise is not possible, but just try to accept a 7 or a 6 perhaps. Women get a lot better looking to you after you know them and love them. Give it a try. If I had a brother and he was a nice guy, the above advice was what I would have given him. Notice how many of these women are missing the point here. The point is to get the beautiful women. Some of these girls' solutions is not to go for the beautiful ones, but all the attributes of the jerk they love, the action, the horniness, the unpredictability, the exciting life, are all effects of a testosteronized male. Fifth girl. I don't think that women are attracted to jerks, but they are attracted to men with illuminate power. Those type of men, powerful, strong, and masculine, are sometimes jerks, which accounts for the confusion. Finally, a woman links the jerk to masculinity, but it is the effects of testosterone she sees. The nice guy sometimes is not strong or powerful, and that's what turns women off. So in essence, it's not the fact that they are nice, it's that they may be lacking other attractive qualities that outweigh the niceness, which the nice guys do not have or are afraid of, and sterilize themselves with nice philosophies. Ultimately, I love nice guys that illuminate strength and masculinity. There is no better combination. It becomes quite simple. Nice guy, male who is scared of his testosterone and seeks to sterilize himself with his niceness. Jerk, a male who merely acts male. He is controlled by his testosterone. This is why he gets into trouble. Great guy, a guy who can control his sexuality and acts male without getting into trouble. Sixth girl, I got an email about the nice guys versus the jerks. I'm totally for nice guys in a relationship, but when it comes to lusting or dreaming about a guy, it's usually the jerks because most jerks have nice bodies and have that something that's sexy about them. Can you not see the pattern emerging? Are we not seeing the jerk and nice guy for what they truly are? Seventh girl. I recognized some time ago exactly what I was doing. I was looking for a specific character, for lack of a better word. It is epitomized by Judd Nelson in The Breakfast Club, or by Elvis Presley and King Creole for your readers who aren't up on the 80s John Hughes phenomenon. Essentially, they're bad boys with heart. I've dated guys who are nice, just nice, and I get bored after about 3 dates. Bad boys are much more interesting, of course, although it's not a wish of women that these guys are really bad. Misunderstood would be a better word. Check out the local oldies station for leader of the pack and you'll get the idea. A guy who's a troublemaker enough to be dangerous and daring and fun and keep life interesting, but who's a real sweetheart underneath. Hell, even when I was in 8th grade, I was much more infatuated with Jason Bateman's character on Silver Spoons, the best friend / next door neighbor who was always causing trouble to get attention from parents he thought didn't care. Then Ricky Schroeder's. Ricky was so sweet, he was saccharine. The problem that I've run into, as I'm sure many women have, is that most of these bad boys don't seem to have good hearts we seek. What you see is what you get. This is because they are controlled by it. The only way to get both and be the desire of every woman is to understand it and control it. By the time you realize it, you may have been dating this jerk for a while. When you ditch him, it's on with the search for the same damn thing. This is where guys will get the idea that jerks get all the women. They see us in the process of this search. What they need to understand is that we're not looking for some nasty idiot. Behind it all is the wish to find that guy who can be trouble to everyone else but nice to us, just like Judd. 8th girl. Nice guys versus jerks isn't the real issue here. It's all about confidence. The major difference between nice guys and jerks is this. If a nice guy has the guts to approach a woman who has caused attention, he is so worried about saying the perfect nice thing that he'll totally flub it. The nice ones end up stumbling away from the object of his desires with his tail caught between his legs. For those who don't already realize, this is not the impression you want to make. A jerk, on the other hand, appears to have been blessed with the ability to approach anyone and just say what's on his mind, completely disregarding any of the repercussions. He just does it. I have no clue how he does it. But damn, the man who has the confidence to accomplish that has caught my eye for the night whether he wants it or not. What does this say? She is saying, stop trying to say the perfect thing. This is why I left seduction behind and gone the natural route. It is more fun, less headaches, and gets better effects. 9th girl. Don't think women don't like nice guys. There is an initial appeal to a jerk, but it doesn't last long. As long as you don't act desperate and have a little something going on for you, believe me, a nice guy can finish first, and with the girl of his dreams. Translated, treat yourself as the prize to be won. This does solve a lot of errors, but it is not enough. Mastering the secret of the jerk optimizes your sexual appeal. 10th girl. This is from the book, which I'm sure many of you have read, called The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. Miss Rand's objectivism is always a bit thorny going down philosophically, and I know how women are the sexual ones, which is strange with the person of Miss Rand, yet Miss Rand's noble hero is entirely in the sexual realm. Her heroes are her ideal men. Objectivism is, in Miss Rand's words, a noble vision of man with characters like John Galt as symbols, but objectivism is more of a style of masculinity than it is a philosophy. Her heroes usually blast philosophical niceness away. In The Fountainhead, the hero, Rourke, is not attractive and said to be even ugly. His rival, Keating, is the pretty boy. But notice the effect that Rourke has on Dominique, the extraordinarily beautiful woman. At the quarry, he does not seduce her, he literally rapes her, as virgin girls are often said to express a fantasy. At a later party, the people notice Dominique, usually surrounded by desperate guys, show signs of attraction. And my dear, asked Kiki Holcomb, what do you think of that new one? You know, I saw you talking to him, that Howard Rourke. I think, said Dominique firmly, that he is the most revolting person I've ever met. Oh, now really? Do you care for that sort of unbridled arrogance? I don't know what one can say for him, unless it's that he's terribly good looking, if that matters. Good looking? Are you being funny, Dominique? The beautiful woman is attracted to this ugly guy, but why? Why, my dear, said Kiki. He's not good looking at all, but extremely masculine. Extreme masculinity. That is what the beautiful woman wants. Now for the males. First male. One thing to add on the nice guys versus jerks thing, jerks win because in their selfish insensitivity they never hide their raw sexuality. Nice guys in their sensitivity hide their sexuality because they think it will oppress women. This guy's on the right track. Women are powerfully attracted to guys who are open with their sexuality. Thus, the jerk wins. Exactly! Now, it is important to realize that being open with your sexuality is not about being a macho wanker, but simply about not denying you want to have sex with her. She knows it anyway, and if you don't let the world know it, you're headed right for the friendship zone. Which is great if you want to chat all night, only to see her waltz out the door and straight into the bed with some asshole who just walked in, but useless if you want to be the one helping her mess up her sheets. So true! To be open with your sexuality, all you gotta do is be yourself, knowing that it is fine to feel sexual about her. Just don't drool or go for the wanna fuck approach, although even that works about 10% of the time. When we acted on our desires as AFCs, we got burned. So many of us became desireless, which is not bad for getting the attention of many pretty babes. But male lust turns women on. The problem is not the male lust. It is putting that male lust in ridiculous philosophies such as the nice guy way and so on. Realize that there are no philosophies with dealing with nature and trust your gut more. Be nice by all means. In fact, I would advocate nothing but niceness, but you gotta combine it with strength and let your sexuality shine through. After all, the difference between you and the jerk is that you are nice, he is sexual, but who does she take home? Second male. This is regarding the nice guy jerk controversy. Just want to confirm some of the claims with first-hand experience. Listen to this one. He describes why even ugly guys get the beautiful babes. I'm 22, an aerospace graduate, and consider myself in the past to be a nice guy, and still a nice guy. Recently, I'm working weekends as a bouncer. I'm a fully qualified jiu-jitsu first dan black belt, but getting some free sex on the side is part of my agenda too. The truth is I can't keep the women off me. I don't know how many numbers I'm gathering, because I can't keep track. Why not before when I was a nice guy and concerned for my female friends? My reasoning is that the theory of male dominance / macho-ness or jerkiness is in effect. One girl even spelled it out for me the other night at this club I was working. Her words were something to the effect of, 90% of girls would go out with you because you're the bouncer, but you're also really good looking and sweet, or something like this. It is strength women are attracted to, but where does this strength come from? Why do guys love crushing their bodies in the gym or in sports? It is the testosterone. Well, now that I think about it, she's right. I see fat, ugly bouncers who just got out of jail picking up girls all the time, whereas they wouldn't stand a chance if they weren't bouncers. Why? Because they're tough guys. And as we see, this also explains why ugly guys get the beautiful girls. It has nothing to do with confidence. It has everything to do with testosterone. Some guys can be very confident with debates, with presentations, etc., but get them in front of women and they freeze. Whereas some guys cannot do all the former, but know exactly what to do when around women. In my case, I am both very polite and considerate towards women and men, except on a bad day when I don't give a fuck. Seeing this, it seems to turn them on. It's the mixed signal theory where women see that you're a tough guy and a nice guy at the same time, the classic Humphrey Bogart thing. So the bottom line is, be tough, or if you're not, look tough and act tough. This isn't to say become a bouncer, because it is not only dangerous and risky, but also very foolish and not worth it, unless you have the skill. Even then, personally I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, so I don't mind it. Another tip, flaunt the things you're good at or like to do, or your accomplishments, but don't lie, so that upon confrontation you're open-jawed. I.e., I'm a pilot, and I mentioned this to chicks I date because I love flying and it's a part of me. It's my only hobby, and it's something not all do, and so is an attention getter. Hope this helps. We all have a lot to learn, so don't worry. You'll get there if you try. It's a matter of educating yourself about these things. I believe and I'm far from it, but the real Don Juans, like the movies, have learned many hard lessons and have keenly observed others and the mistakes they make. It's like aviation. You don't want to be the NTSB accident report. You want to read it and learn from others' mistakes. Good luck. Third male. Well, here's my 2 cents worth, and it's going to piss off most of the chicks and a lot of wimpy men. Wimpy men. That perfectly describes this guys who are scared of their sexuality, of the effects their testosterone might have on them. Girls do like jerks, especially the pretty girls. Fair or not, you fellas know the pretty ones are the ones we want. Precisely. And these girls can have anyone they want, so they deserve no sympathy when they get treated like dirt. Ladies, please spare me the fecal matter about how you don't know he is a jerk. Guys, if you are a shoulder to cry on for these women, you are a bunch of damn fools. Yes! What I really tried to get tired of hearing is that when women get older, they become more attracted to nice guys. This is true only if she has gained 100 pounds, has finally divorced the jerk, and has a couple of kids she needs some sucker to help support. Exactly! Even then, she will secretly always want him back. It happens to me constantly, and these chicks can go to hell as far as I'm concerned. It's not that nice guys finish last, it's that nice guys, when it comes to the women's lust, do not win at all. The best seducer I know personally is an alcoholic, ex-convict, pathological liar with a violent temper who can't hold down a job. And yet some of you guys are reading seduction material until your eyes hurt. As the scientists said above, high rates of testosterone are found in criminals, in gigantic liars, and such. Hell, look at how popular Bill Clinton is with women voters. This is why I'm primarily interested in financial success. To hell with these dumb chicks. Let them marry a turd and live in misery. I'm going to have a nice home, car, and retire comfortably. Heh, at least he knows what he wants. If you're nice, she thinks you're a puss, chump, and not a real man. It's always been this way, and always will be. Actors, pro athletes, rock stars, and drug dealers are always awash with women, and these guys are known scum. These guys are also the ones who are rated with the highest testosterone levels. This is the jerk's secret, and he doesn't even realize it. Fourth male. This male we all know. His name is Jake Steed. Here are some examples for you. I have a coworker and friend who is one of the best natural seductionists I have ever met. He has fucked more women than any of the guys here could ever dream of. Yes, he parties, and yes, he seduces. Yes, we have all met them. He just so happens to be the most brilliant, accomplished person of his position in the company. So how about your theory that seduction swallows you up? Don't be ridiculous. Life is about balance. And yes, Jake illustrates my point here. The answer is not because he does not seduce. He is natural, man. Highly testosteronized males, especially if they can control it, rise far in the business world. The difference between Apollonian and Dionysian at its root level is that Apollonian controls nature while Dionysian is controlled by it. Apollonian is not to cast nature out to the netherworld or to be a killjoy. I'll take my example a bit further. I actually showed him this website, and you know what he did? He laughed his ass off. He couldn't understand how guys like the guys here could devote so much time and energy into discussing women. He doesn't even think about what he does. He just does. Thank you, Jake. I've been saying this on and on and on. In the Kill the Desperation thread, when asked about my philosophy, I said there was none, and you guys got confused. Later, when I said to stop treating love and sexuality like an academic degree, studying books and websites on the subject, you guys got mad at me. This isn't rocket science, it is women, and the answers are already embedded in your nature. So where does that leave you? This guy is building an amazing career and fucking tons and tons of hot-ass women, while you and I are here discussing the fucking path of Apollo versus the path of Dionysus, and some guy named Pook who has risen to godlike status here on some little-known message board. So just who's on the Apollo path here? Don't confuse Apollonia with career success. Later, RD2 adds, the thing that is never addressed is the quality of women that you want to get with. I would bet that Ross Jeffries has never had a real quality woman. Women are not as dumb as a lot of guys here seem to think, and they learn from experience as well as we do. I know a very quality woman who shoots down all the seduction attempts. She says the thing that attracts her is the quality of character in a man. I do not think that learning SS is building that kind of character. Thank you, RD2. Speed seduction cannot build character because the focus is, let us say it together, entirely on women. Gentlemen, when you want a beautiful woman, you are in the big leagues. SS is more concerned with quantity than quality. This is why I left it behind. To increase testosterone. No, do not run out and get shots. In our modern world cubicles and style, we are at desks and usually not in a state of action, but there are easy ways to increase one's testosterone naturally and have the effects of greater confidence, action, boldness, strength. No more analyzing. Turn off your computer and stop reading and rereading seduction knowledge. The only true benefit of the seduction material was not in the house of getting seduction. It was opening your eyes of how nature actually works. When I was a nice guy and read Tony's Get Laid Guy, it did a number on my head. It smashed all my nice guy philosophies. Build up the body. Oddly, working out does seem to have more psychological effects than physical ones. Jerks always usually have nice bodies. Keep it in a state of action. Several of the guys in the fitness and health forum we never hear from in the other forums. Why? Because they know they don't need philosophies. Listen to Anthony Ellis of theskillyguy.net who says, you have to have that drive and determination, and the change has to come from within. All the exterior things, they don't mean much. You want to change the way you see life. You want to change your relationships. You want to make your workplace better. You want to be happier. But Mr. Ellis, who went from scrawny guy to impressive muscle guy, I have noticed people who discovered that when they change their bodies, they can change their whole lives. Did you notice that? I'm definitely more confident. I believe in myself a lot more. I feel like I can do other things that I would never have thought to do before. I am not afraid to be out at night. That's a big deal for me. I enjoy the city so much more. I'm a part of it now. And doing this is not brain surgery. I didn't save someone's life, but I improved my life, which is very difficult to do. How many people are trying to lose fat? How many are trying to gain muscle? How many people are trying to get control of their lives? I have, and I feel empowered. I have no doubt any direction I choose to take my life will be successful. You've kept this up for about a year now. You've got a solid muscle mass, a great physique, a great outlook, but what does the long-term success mean to you? Is this going to be a part of it? This is definitely part of my life now. It's a permanent fixture. I may make slight adjustments, but once you go on this trip, there's no return ticket. You don't want to go back. It's like going to Hawaii. You don't want to come back because you've seen the other side. Once you get going, once you get the momentum going, once you start looking better, once you start feeling better, you don't want to stop. You want to keep exercising, keep looking good, and keep feeling good. What do you tell people who don't believe this is possible? When I meet people with that type of attitude, people who say, that's not possible, I tell them, for you it's not possible because you don't believe it. If you don't believe it, you can't do it, you can't do it. I think they need to believe it before it will work for them. When they open their minds, things are going to start happening. They see the reality of the situation. It's absolutely 100% necessary to believe you can do it. I mean, really believe it deep down inside. I've come to realize that most of what happens to you is a result of you. It all comes from inside. Everything you do, everything you are, how you handle everything that happens to you is your responsibility. If you want to change, look inside. When you decide to change from the inside, the outside will fall into place. For as you think, you shall become. This is why the focus must always remain on you. Some other things. Joining a sport. Every male needs good old competition. Ever notice why the jocks get the girls? Perhaps it's because their testosterone levels shoot up, or at least appear to. Eating more. For skinny guys, this is a must. It strengthens the body. Do not take yourself so seriously. This is for the shy and hesitant guys. You need to get over the fact that the world does not revolve around you. It never has and never will. No one will care if you get hit on a chick. No one will care if you make a move on her. Do not rationalize away your desires. Start doing some of the things the awful jerks do. Try getting on stage and being some rock star. Your testosterone levels will shoot up. Try acting. Since projecting is all, your levels of testosterone will rise. Women will naturally sense it, and also because it will spring off other actions. A new start. Let us consider the nice guy versus debate to be over. The nice guy is a male who's afraid or doesn't embrace his testosterone. The jerk should be seen as a testosteronized male. What we understand, we have power to use. What we do not understand, it has power to use us. For we possess the ability to restart our lives over again. Be not scared, by acting nice or relying on mental tricks, to do what your testosterone was put there to make you do. Be natural equals be man. Later post. Some fucked up name, Myanmar, chicken seller Thin Sandarin had always dreamt of being a man. When she inexplicably grew a penis last month, the 21-year-old treated it as an awe-inspiring omen, as have the thousands of stunned villagers who have traveled to Padoga to see him. On the morning of the full moon of June 21, I noticed my thing, sex organ, was not the same as before. Thin Sandar, who now goes by the male name Than Sen, said on Wednesday, and my breast disappeared, Than Sen added, so I called out and shouted it all to my mom and dad. It was very strange. Experts have examined him, and he awaits test results from a women's hospital, Sapa AFP. The secret of the jerk post detailed this occurring in lab rats. There are legends and mythologies of this occurring throughout various cultures. Though I am curious if the opposite is true. Can guys have their penis drop off and a vagina appear with breasts appearing? Apparently not. Testosterone stains. Once you've been immersed in testosterone, first in the womb, then in puberty, you cannot go back. But that doesn't mean you can become a very feminine and weak. You'll still have balls, just not in the metaphorical sense.